What's up, fam? I'm Farlan.
And I'm Tiffanie. And this is the For Real Fam Podcast, where we keep it real about our lives as entrepreneurs,
Real about raising our blended family,
and real about the ups and downs of marriage and relationships.
Oh, so you gonna keep it real?
Oh, that's all I do, baby.
Okay, well, let's do it then.
What's up, For Real Fam? Welcome back to a new episode of the For Real Fam Podcast, where we discuss our journey on family, marriage, and entrepreneurship. So we just want to say welcome back.
Episode 2, y'all.
We back.
We here. We said we doing it.
Yes.
So we doing it. So episode 2.
And we try to be consistent. So hopefully y'all enjoy the last episode, and hopefully y'all enjoy this episode.
Right.
Yeah. You want to say anything?
So before we get into, the talk, we just want to thank y'all for being here again. Again, this is our newest journey.
Yes.
Doing the podcast. So bear with us, enjoy the ride, enjoy the growth that we're about to experience. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And y'all get to see this firsthand, from us starting how we starting now until y'all see the next level, because we always plan on getting better and better and growing. So y'all are here with us. We happy to have y'all part of our community, and hopefully y'all enjoy these episodes. Mm-hmm. So for this episode, as y'all see the title, we talking about blended families. Yes, blended families. Not only blended families, when you have a blended family, you also have to deal with co-parenting or not so much co-parenting, right? Because having a blended family, we could want a good co-parenting experience, but sometimes, we don't have that. We don't have that chance to have that co-parenting experience. So we just going to give y'all our story, and also kind of give advice on how to help you along your journey if you're having the same experience. So we just want to, again, welcome back to our new episode, and hope y'all enjoy this episode as well, all right?
Right, and we hope, you can take something from this, learn from this. Hey, you might have a tip for us. You know?
Oh, yes.
So we just, hope y'all enjoy this episode, and let's get into it.
Welcome to the Black Express Company, where healthy relationships, family bonds, and self-care intersect.
Our products embody the essence of Black: authority, elegance, intelligence, and luxury. Each product name reflects a meaningful concept, symbolizing the values essential for healthy and lasting connections.
Join us on the journey of love, connection, and transformation. Embrace the power of family bonds and self-care with the Black Express Company.
Visit us at www.theblackexpressco.com.
Your expressway to luxury.
So this episode, we are discussing blended family, or navigating blended family, or should I say navigating blended family dynamics.
Yes.
That's what we said. So as y'all heard in our episode where we discussed how we pretty much got to this podcasting experience, Tiffany had her son, and I hate saying that, her son, because that's my son too.
Yeah, but just for the purposes of, so you can kind of
get to know. Yeah, Tiffany had a son, I had a son, and we pretty much got together, and then me and Tiffany together have a daughter and a son, biologically together. Did I say that correct? Biologically correct? I know you say biological. That's my biological parent.
I don't know if we would use that in that term.
Yeah.
So scratch.
Okay, we gonna scratch that. But me and Tiffany have a son, a daughter, and a son together.
Right.
And then we have a son each from a previous relationship.
Right.
So
total of 4 kids.
Total of 4 kids. And when we first got together, our sons, they hit it off. They 3 years apart. They became best friends, and that allowed our new relationship to kind of start off good. Right. We would go places. They would have similar interests. So it was easy for them to kind of connect and for us to kind of bring them together. it was kind of nerve-wracking for me because me being in a relationship, I'm like, dang, she got a son. I hope he likes me, you know. And not only that, I got to deal with his dad, you know. That's kind of new to me, you know, because any relationship or any person I dealt with before, I never really had to deal with the other parent. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of going into this thing like, dang, okay, I gotta, you know, I wonder if she got baby daddy drama or whatever. But at the same time, I was with it. You know, I was with the shits, as they say, because at the same time, you know, I love Tiffanie. So anything that came with her, I was ready to take on. So if anybody wanted to come to me about drama, I was standing 10 toes behind that. Period. But anyways, you know, but it was kind of nerve wracking. But me and my son, and he is my son, I am his dad. Me and him kind of hit it off good. You know, he loved me. You know, we treat each other like a biological father and son would. You know, and if you ask him, Daddy, or if you hear him say Daddy, he's talking about me. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong for saying that?
No.
Oh,
okay. Because it's the truth.
Because it's the truth. If
right,
you come to him,
and everyone knows that.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Some people don't even know that's my stepson.
I was just gonna say that. Like, yeah, that's something that I actually just thought about. A lot of people that know us have known us for years.
Yeah.
Do not know that our son is not biologically
mine.
His.
Yeah. But we blood. But you couldn't, like she said, you couldn't tell that. You know, right. And you still can't tell us that we're not blood. That is my blood. You know, I feel like I did birth him. I feel like I did
I mean, he was 3. He was
3. So
you know.
we met early, you know, so yeah. And now he's becoming this amazing young man, and I love him, you know, like he's mine, and that will never change. Mm-hmm. So since we're talking about Mr. Kimari, my stepson, I even hate saying that word, but since we was talking about him, let's start off with you on your experience as starting this new blended family and your co-parenting experience, and this should be fun. So.
It's gonna be quick.
It's gonna be quick.
Yeah, I mean, so I had a baby. It was a boy.
You had a baby. It's a boy.
I had a baby. It's a boy. Mr. Kimari. I had him. You know, got pregnant at 19. Had him at 20. I was still a kid, still trying to figure out life. Didn't know what I was doing. Crying every day.
Yeah.
You know, luckily my mom was there.
Yeah.
You know, so long story short, I had him.
Yeah, shout out Mama Liz.
Yeah, that was my rider. That was it for me, you know. And during, you know, pregnancy and childbirth and all that, I had him.
Well, let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Before you go on, okay. Let's talk about your experience, because I feel like it's a lot of young women out there that's been in your shoes, or that's in your shoes. I mean, not in your shoes, but in a situation that you once was,
right.
You know, that you once was in, and now you're married, hopefully happily married, but not only happily married, but you have a family, and you was able to move on for that situation. Yeah. So how was that being a young single mother?
The thing about it is, when people hear, like, you know, young single mother, they think like, oh God, like, what is she gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they think the worst. And the thing is, did I know what I was doing? Heck no, I did not know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Did I have the support from the other parent? No, I did not. I was literally a single mom, you know, because at the end of the day, ladies and fellas, you know, once you bring a child into this world, you don't get to pick and choose when you can be their parent.
Facts.
You know, is that
facts
accurate?
Oh, that's very accurate.
You know, you can't pick and choose when you want to be a parent. Mm-hmm. And I knew that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, 366 on a leap year, that I had to be this boy's mama. You know, so I had to do what I had to do. that did not having that support did not stop me from being the best mom that I could be. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait. Hey, I need Pampers. Hey, I need milk. Hey, I need clothes. He needs this. I need daycare. I can't. I shouldn't have to. Because 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year, you're supposed to be a parent. So I had to do what I had to do, and I would always tell young, old, just mothers in general, you know, you having a child, you can't worry about what the other parent is doing, because at the end of the day, that baby gonna look up at you, and you gotta do what you have to do. That should not stop you from being the best parent that you can be to your child. Yes, it sucks. It definitely sucks. But, you know, it was a lesson learned. Definitely a lesson learned. You know,
what is the lesson?
I would say the lesson learned is be careful who you have babies by. That's one. But and sometimes you don't know in that instance. Like, you know, some people might be like, oh, well, that's your fault, girl. You shouldn't have had a baby by him. But at the end of the day, you don't know how things are going to turn out. Yeah, you don't. Because in that moment of me getting pregnant and me so-called trying to build this relationship with his biological father, I thought it was gonna work out. Yeah, you weren't really focused on the future. I wasn't thinking, oh, okay, 15 years from now, girl, you're gonna be by you know. I was thinking in the moment, like, okay, you know, we're gonna have a baby. But I tell you this: if I had to give an 18-year-old or 19-year-old any advice, if you were to get pregnant and you go to that person and you say, hey, I'm pregnant, and if their response is, well, what you gonna do? Be prepared to be a single parent. Gotcha. You know, and I think early on when I heard that, it was like, okay, so this is my life. I accepted it. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna try to force it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he ain't gonna be there. Okay, I gotta do what I gotta do. Yeah. Period. And I didn't turn back. You know, I didn't turn back. I kept going. I raised my son the best way I knew how, with the support of my mom, and that was that. I mean, there was in and out. So he was there sometimes, but not in and out on a consistent basis. Not a consistent. After, I think the pivotal moment was when we started dating, because sometimes the other person can't handle you moving on. They can't handle you, someone else so-called being around your child. But is it really that? Yeah. It might not have nothing to do with the child. It might just be they see you flourishing, and it's like, and now you're not supposed to be in this space. Yeah. You can't be happy and I'm not happy. Like, that's not it. So I think that was a pivotal moment when me and you got together. That's when it was like, everything stopped. Everything stopped. Yeah, so, well, I remember he tried. I do remember sometimes he would reach out and try and say, oh, I want to see him and all that. But then there's also follow through. Yeah, You can't, and this is for fellas, ladies, whoever's in the situation. Yeah. Because sometimes it goes the other way too. Yeah. You know, you can't say, oh yeah, I want to see my child. Yeah. And then don't be nowhere to be found. You know, because guess what? At the end of the day, I have to look at my child and tell him, oh, okay, well, or not, because you have a person there that's filling that void, and it doesn't even really matter. Yeah. So in my situation, honestly, people say, you know, oh, he needs his father. Yeah. He needs his father in his life. I believe everyone should know, and I wish everyone could have a bond. I wish that they could. I wish that could have happened. Yeah. You know, but because there are a lot of situations where there's a stepdad and a real dad, and they coexist in the same space. Yeah. They be right there at the graduations. They be right there at the award ceremony. They be right there at the sports events. Yeah. Together. would that have been ideal?
Yeah, and of course we do want that. You know, we hope to have that type of relationship,
right. But it does not always work out like that. But
Yeah.
we can't sit up here and be bitter about it.
No.
I just, you know, like, okay, son, this is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and we and one thing about, we try to be open with him, you know, about
Yeah,
things.
he knows.
Like,
he knows.
Like,
he know who he is.
Yeah.
You know, he.
Right.
We even
at one point encouraged.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? Let's encourage this now. It's
Yeah.
been a while. Let's encourage bonding. Let's encourage, but always keep your child's interests first.
Yeah, and
You're not doing this for the other person.
Yeah, and I remember even early on, I kind of used to get mad because I used to kind of see you be the one to kind of initiate it and make sure, oh, you know, got to make sure his dad in his life. But I kind of I wasn't really mad, you know, I was all for it. But at the same time, I just feel like as a man who also have my own situation, I feel like if I want to be in my child's life, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be in my child's life. Yeah. It shouldn't have to take the mother of the child to kind of create that relationship. It should be, you always should be on top of it, you know. And I used to kind of get mad I know you remember, but that used to probably be some of our arguments early on.
Early on, that was a big part of
that was a big part because I felt like, okay, why is you hitting him up? You know, why is you saying this and saying that? You ain't say this the right way, or you ain't say this you know, you said this wrong, or you know, because a lot of times these dudes, they come around because they really, to you, he trying to be in the child's life, but at the same time, the dude could also be trying to create friction between the step parent, you know, to kind of show, oh, I'm his real daddy, this and that, you know, which, you are, you know, and I'm not threatened by that, you know, because at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know our relationship, you know. Right. But at the same time, too, this is now my wife. This is now the mother of my child as well. So I have to not only protect her, I have to protect my family. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to come with a lot of things, you know, and I'm all for it. But that used to be one of our arguments, you know. And I think, like, to piggyback off what you said, like, for me, even in that situation, again, I'm young. I ain't never had to deal with this because I'm going to be honest, I never really had to have any type of successful relationship with anyone else except him, because there was always turmoil. There was always a what do you call it? Interception. Every time I would try to date someone or would try to like be with someone, it was like, no, nah. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like I was never able to. Hold on your end or
on
what
my
you mean?
End, like if I want, like before I got with you, I was never able to like actually have a real relationship because nobody was gonna deal with all that negative that came.
What type of stuff came with it? What he was starting stuff with them, or
just being petty, being bitter, being just bothersome, just for no reason. Like there's one thing you can pick up your kid, go do what you do with your kid. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Do that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to just all the other added drama that comes along with it, that ain't got nothing to do with the kid, and it's just bothering my spirit and bothering me.
For
it's
no reason.
It's kind of like, wait, but you don't want me. So leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things. And I know a lot of women, men I know, have dealt with that. They feel like, oh, if I can't be with you, nobody else can be. And so for a long time, I just was like, okay, well, it's just gonna be me and my son. This is because ain't nobody gonna deal with this. Nobody's gonna deal with this. Like nobody's gonna deal with all this drama, all this negativity. And I got to a place where I was just like, I'm just gonna have to be by myself. And then when he came along, it was kind of like I was apprehensive at first because I'm like, you know, I don't know how this gonna go. I don't know how he is. You know, I didn't know how you were in that space. Like if you was finna be down, like it's cause crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I was a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
At first, like from the first like encounter I think you had with him, I was a little embarrassed. Like I knew it was over. I was like, oh yeah, this over.
Yeah.
This it. This is a wrap. We're gonna wrap this up real quick because he ain't gonna deal with that. And by for literally though, if I was a dude, would I want to? You get what I'm saying?
I get it, but I think the situation you talking about, when that situation happened, I'm always
multiple.
Yeah, but the first time I was kind of like, you know what? Let me stay in my place. I feel like as a new boyfriend at the time, and I'm not getting in the way of a father and child relationship. You know what I'm saying? That's not my place. Hey, if you're trying to be in your child's life, hey, I'm all for it. I'm staying in my lane. I'm playing my position. I'm only dealing with my girlfriend, which is at the time we didn't know you was pregnant you got pregnant pretty early, so the whole relationship you was pregnant, but we didn't know. But at the same time, I knew me and you was in a relationship, so I wasn't trying to cross that line or cross that boundary, because this is a guy who has a child with you. So I kind of took the back seat and let you kind of deal with it. Of course, I wasn't going to let him harm you or harm the child. So I kind of just played the back until it got to me, you know, and I felt like that's probably when it kind of ended. Or should I say ended? Because it really never really ended like that.
You mean just all the drama?
Yeah, the drama. It kind of died down.
I think it did. It died down. I think once I had Soraya, and once I think, you know, then we got engaged, then we got married, then it was like, oh, okay. Yeah. He ain't going nowhere. Yeah. You know, and that's just how I honestly feel. I could be absolutely wrong. I don't know.
I can't remember, but it was.
It did kind of like go away for a while, and then, you know, here and there will be kind of reaching, you know, reaching out or whatever, and till this day, I would say, because the type of person I am, I will still never get in the way of if my child says, "Hey, mom, I want to, you know, such and such."
Yeah, you still keep that door open.
Yes, I will never be like no. Yeah, and never have ever. You know, like he said, I always try to initiate, like, hey. Yeah. You know, but then I was like,
people can change. People can change, and
people can definitely change.
You still don't want to be in the way of something that could turn out great. You know, so that's why we was,
no matter how long it takes.
In the piggyback off what you said, you know, plenty of times he would reach out. You would give him because you'll give him the opportunity, because now this day and age kids have cell phones. You know, you don't really have to reach out to her. You can go straight to the child. So now it's in your hands. You got your child number. You have the access to create in a relation. You have the access to create in a relationship if you want to. You know, now you can't sit up and blame, oh, she keeping me away from my child, this and that. No, you have his number. You know, nobody's blocking that. So I get what you're saying, and you did. I feel like you did a good job.
Right, and I'm gonna be honest, like, people get a lot of stigma. Like, women get a lot of stigma. And, you know, oh, it's because she's keeping my child from me. And I can't speak for all women, but I do know if there's any women like me, I've never been like, if as long as my child is not in no harm, you know what I'm saying? The access is there. Yeah. But the minute any harm or any misconduct or any like just doing my kid wrong, disrespect. No, it's not gonna. You know, I'm not gonna put my child in any type of situation to where he's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of made me feel okay having kids with you, because I seen the type of woman you were. You know, at the time, you wasn't a bitter baby mama. So I knew what I was getting. I knew I was going to get somebody who wanted that relationship, you know. And I think that's what kind of, when you got pregnant, when we first got together, when you got pregnant, it was kind of like, Okay, you know, because you had your own place, you had your own car, you had a job, you know, which all those things was kind of like, yeah, you know, this.
Yeah, I just never wanted to have to depend on nobody. And my mom always taught me, like, girl, get your own stuff because, you know, do what you have to do for your kid. And that was my biggest thing, like. Yeah. And I think that's what attracted me to you too, because I'm like, you don't see too many dudes out here just with their kid like that. I'm just being honest. At least back in that time, now it might be a little different, but back in that time where we grew up, you ain't see dudes just with their kids. Yeah,
and that's actually a good segue onto part 2 of this, my situation. So now we talked about your situation, and there's probably a lot of layers to that as well. But you know, at the end of this podcast, y'all will be able to send us questions if we missed anything, or if you have advice for this community, or if you want to ask us advice. You know, we're gonna give y'all an email at the end. It's already in the description. If you on this part of the podcast, you can go in our description and you can see the email that you can kind of send the information. But let's talk about my experience as a co-parenting in this blended family.
Welcome to the Black Express Company, where healthy relationships, family bonds, and self-care intersect.
Our products embody the essence of Black: authority, elegance, intelligence, and luxury. Each product name reflects a meaningful concept, symbolizing the values essential for healthy and lasting connections.
Join us on the journey of love, connection, and transformation. Embrace the power of family bonds and self-care with the Black Express Company.
Visit us at www.theblackexpressco.com.
Your expressway to luxury.
So my experience. Where do I begin?
Listen, y'all. It's. I'm glad that we're doing this.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell y'all, it's not easy.
It's definitely not easy. And it's not easy even having this conversation like this, because at the end of the day, it's still children involved, and you don't want to start up new beasts. You know what I'm saying? Right. It is what it is. I just want to give the disclaimer. This is our experience. This is our view of things. Right. You know, and they have their own view. And they're going to have their own view. So I just want to put that out there. But my experience as a co-parenter or not, man, I'm going to say it's been rough for me since the beginning. You know, and I would say rough just because I've been trying to I always, when I decided that I wanted to have children, I already had in my mind that, hey, no matter what, I'm going to be the best father. I'm going to do the best I can. You know, all the things that I didn't have coming up as a child, as far as, you know, having that father figure, I wanted to make sure my kids had that. You know, so I already had that planted in my head, like, hey, I'm going to be the best father I could be, you know. Mm-hmm. So my co-parenting experience, it wasn't good just because it's been, you know, arguments and trying to, you know, I'm arguing, but I'm not trying to argue because I'm not trying to argue in front of the child, in front of my son. But at the same time, you got to worry about, you know, and honestly, I want to say this without getting so deep, because again, this is my truth. You know what I'm saying? So
it's your truth.
Yeah. So I don't really know how to. No, we're gonna talk it through. But so I don't know. I really don't know how to explain my co-parenting experience without really getting deep to the point where.
Well,
you know,
I understand what you're saying, because I could write a whole memoir about my experience. Yeah. So, I mean, like from birth, you know, I can give a whole depiction of what didn't happen, what did happen at the hospital. I can give all of that. But despite all of that, when it comes down to how you guys communicated on the ins and out of your son, what do you feel like on your end you weren't able to, what did you need from that co-parent? What did you need from her that you did not get?
Yeah. Well, first, I can't really say what I just needed to make sure I was a part of my son's life. You know what I'm saying? So I would say,
did you not get the communication aspect? How was that?
Well, we never really communicated like that,
so
because
that
all the time we pretty much argued. Pretty much, it was like if I asked, "Hey," about my son, there was always pushback. You get what I'm saying? So early on, I had to file for she put me on child support, but then I had to in order to be in my son's life, I had to file for joint custody. So of course, when you file for joint custody, they're going to put me on, I got to be put on child support. Even though she went through the child support, I think it's two systems. You can go through the child support department or you can go through the court. I went through the court. She went through the child support department.
Right.
So I was already on child support and also fighting for joint custody for my son. So that was all it just created a big mess to the point where the co-parenting was not good at all. Actually, you had to step in to be the communicator as far as when the joint custody actually kicked in. I had them 1 week, she had them 1 week. You was the one. Well, no, because when we got together, we already had the joint custody established. Right. So I used to get them week on, week off.
But I would just pick them up.
But when we got together, I think that's when it got worse. And not only worse, but you was able to kind of, I started seeing things, I started putting things in perspective because you would kind of calm me down and you would kind of speak to me, but also be the person to kind of be in the forefront on of that relationship. You know what I'm saying? You was the one to talk to her. I kind of fell back so it wouldn't be no conflict when we talked.
Yeah, and I honestly think the reason, and this is not any like this to her or you or just the realization of it. Like, I'm a woman first, so a lot of the things when you talk and you say, "Oh, she reacted this way, she did this," maybe I didn't do that, but I can understand. Not saying she right. Yeah, I see where her mind was at. How old were y'all?
Yeah, and we was young. We was
19,
19, 20. Yeah,
right. So her. It wasn't. It had nothing to do about. Oh, let me do the right thing.
Yeah.
It was just. I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like she reacted. Her impulse was how she felt.
Yeah.
Just in that moment. And again, that's not to excuse anything. Chicks get mad. Sometimes chicks will go put you on child support. Yeah. Chicks get mad. Sometimes you can't pick up the baby.
Yeah.
Because of their feeling. And again, when we young, we do dumb stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's
you get what I'm saying?
Me being a new parent and, wanting to have this father have this relationship with my child, it was kind of hard for me to let that slide, so that's why I was kind of just so adamant about being on getting joint custody and doing it the right way. But at the same time, the court, it takes so long and it takes a lot of money, so I think that's why I couldn't really see a lot of things. Maybe I could have looked at it and said, okay, well, maybe she feel away about this or feel away about that. I wasn't worried about it. All I was worried about me being in my child's life.
Yeah, and I think because of the type of person you are and like hearing you say that, even knowing you now, you are the type of person, if something, you don't feel something ain't right, you're the type of person, okay, I'm taking action. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. You don't think twice about it. Yeah. So I think in that moment, you probably were like, nope, I want to see my son, so this is what I'm doing. Yeah. We're not going to sit down. Yeah. We're not having no conversation.
Especially if somebody doubt me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, as soon as somebody pokes the bear, you're like.
You saying I can't do this? Oh,
right,
okay.
Yeah.
You know,
because
so
you're still
action.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when he got to the point where I wanted to see my son to get him, and I heard no, it was kind of like no, like okay, yeah. You know, I'm not finna sit up here. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not finna sit up here and beat you up, and we finna argue. You know, but I'm gonna do it the right way. You know, okay, I'm gonna get the courts involved. I'm gonna go ahead and, since the court already involved, because child support, it's like, okay, you know what, let me file these papers. Right. You know, and I think I should have got a lawyer. I did everything on my own. That was stressful too, you know, and a lot of money. Right. But
it's because you acted on impulse too.
I acted on impulse as well as her. You know what I'm saying? But again, all I was thinking is, I want to be in my son's life. I want to see him. I couldn't see him take his first steps in walking. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't hear his first words, and certain things I couldn't do, and that ate me up. Right. You know, so that just made me even go even harder on trying to make sure I had that joint cousin. And again, you know, the court system, it takes a long time. So I just to sum it all up, I just want to encourage, you know, fathers out there. Sometimes you just have to take a minute to kind of start looking on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might have to be in a place where I'm lost for words now. You have to kind of get outside of yourself, you know, and kind of drop that ego and just have that conversation with the mother of your child. Right. And again, even when you can't, you know, those times when you can't, but sometimes, you know, it could be benefit. I don't know if it. I honestly, I don't know.
I would say this.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, because
accountability. Okay. And again, we just only speaking from our own experiences. Yeah. Everybody got their own experiences. So what we're saying, some people might be shaking their head like, girl, bye, you know, or whatever, you know. But I was just saying accountability, because, like, for instance, just example, in my situation, to hear you say, you know, I just wanted to see my son, I wanted to be in my son's life, I wanted to, you know, do all of these things, right? Yeah. And for you to go to as extreme or far, some people may say extreme, but I don't think it's extreme when you want to see your kids. But some people might say, oh, he went to the extreme of going to the courts and trying to get joint custody, right? And in my situation, it's the complete opposite. Yeah. In my situation, there is no push. There is no, it's just, you won't let me see my kid. Yeah. That's all. That's it. So it's totally opposite on both ends.
Yeah, we definitely had
and I think, honestly, that's why we gravitated, because I want to be with somebody that's going to be wholeheartedly supportive and helping me with my child and being there and giving my child that bond that they deserve. And I think with him, he wants someone that's going to allow that bond to happen. Yeah. And so it's kind of like we both were kind of seeking the same thing. Yeah. And I think that's what kind of drew us to each other. Yeah. You know, in a sense. But I'll say accountability. If you a father out there and you want to be in your child's life, be in your child's life. Yeah. If the other parent is not allowing it, because there's a difference between allowing someone to be in a child's life or, you know, making sure that, hey, you haven't been there all this time. There's boundaries. There's, you know, because guess what? Once the child gets to a certain age, they may not want to be bothered with you. Yeah. Just being real. Yeah. So you have to stand in that and be like, you know what? I ain't been there all this time. I can't sit up here and be mad at her. Yeah. I can't sit up here and call her names or, you know, laugh
I don't want y'all to get confused. Not my situation.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
But
I'm just speaking on.
Yeah, about your situation, but I get it.
I know there's guys out there that may feel like, oh, she ain't let me see my kid. Let's take a step back. Yeah. And let's think about this. Yeah. Has she ever told you no? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, as women, our job, we are protectors of our children. Period. If our child may come to us and say, "Nah, I don't want to," guess what we do? Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're never gonna put our child in a situation where they're uncomfortable. And then, because guess what? We got to deal with the repercussion of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, take a step back, look at yourself. Okay, am I doing everything I need to do to make them feel comfortable enough to even want to have a relationship with me?
Yeah.
Have I done what I needed to do? Have I been gone for years at a time and then pop back up and think everything's supposed to be?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that. That's why I say accountability.
Yeah.
You know, think about what part you play instead of throwing the blame. I'm just speaking from my own experience. For people who are constantly hearing, guys or whoever saying, "Oh, I can't see my son, I can't see my daughter."
Yeah.
Take a step back.
I would say take a step back, and from a father point of view, I would just say, you can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? And you can't stress about the things that you can't change. You can only be who you are, and you can only be the best version of yourself. So at the end of the day, if you dealing with someone that's getting in the way of the relationship with you and your child, I would just say pray, because it is stressful. It is a process. If you have to go through the courts, man, make sure you have a lawyer. And just pray, because at the end of the day, even though going through that process is still a long process, and you still losing time with your child, and you still not creating that relationship with your child, and your child not knowing what's going on, it's kind of like when you do get that chance to be in your child's life, now you have to kind of build that relationship, and that takes time too. So I would just say, like my wife said, accountability. Have accountability. Have patience. Make sure you pray. Make sure you just trying. That's all you can do.
And talk to your kid.
Be open. Open communication. Make sure you be honest. And sometimes you have to be brutally honest, but at the same time be respectful, because that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Because you can be honest and respectful, but on the other side too, that being respectful might have you in a situation to where the other person is lying on you. So it's kind of, I don't know.
Right.
And depending on your situation, there's so many ways we can go with it, but
there's not one answer for all these different situations. It's so many different situations.
And I just want to, again, with the fathers, just again, man, pray, and make sure you have a good supportive system that you can kind of talk to and vent to, because the process is not easy, and anybody who going through a situation where you can't be in your child's life because of a bad co-parenting situation, may God bless you. And I don't really know what to say, because it's no easy way.
It's open-ended.
I can't sit up here and say, oh, it's going to be great, it's going to be good, because it's a lot of moving pieces. The relationship with your child, the relationship with the co-parenting situation, and yourself, so we'll probably have to go back on another episode and dive deep.
I think the biggest thing is the child. Like for me, it always goes back to my son.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Mine too.
I'm never gonna put him in an uncomfortable situation. I'm gonna make sure his best interest is my top priority.
Yeah.
Because I've done the not when he was younger. I've done the not putting his interest first and trying to appease to him. Okay, here you go. Okay. Well, you want to get, me pushing
the relationship,
and all for that to come to a point where it's non-existent. it's kind of like, well, I did all that for nothing. Like, that didn't even. And so now when it's like, hey, it's kind of like, you know. So I would say to close it out, you know, like he said, pray about it.
Yeah,
pray about it.
Make sure you have a good support system.
Accountability,
patience.
Look within.
Look within.
Ladies,
and all that good
too,
stuff.
Look within. We don't always do, you know, the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure there was some missteps in my whole situation. I know there was missteps.
Yeah, we not perfect at all, but at the end of the day, it is about the kids. And if you keep it about the kids, then you shouldn't have any problems, to be honest. Because if your main focus is on the child, then you're gonna do whatever to make sure that child is happy at all times. Whether that's, sometimes you might gotta, hey, call your dad, go with your dad. Hey, you know, you might have to have a conversation with the dad. You might have to have a conversation with the mom. But long as you keeping it about the child, everything I feel like should be okay.
And it always goes back to this type of situation that you're in. If you just have somebody that pops up every 5 years or more, then
but
it ain't no talking to them.
Ain't no talking. In that situation, is no talking because it's nothing to talk about. I mean, you made your decision early on. Again, some people may change, but again, if you have accountability and if you're in a position to where you can look at yourself, you come to her and be like, you know what, I messed up. You know, I want to make things right.
Right.
You have to make it right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be the bigger man and say, you know, I messed up. I want to make this right. And not just talking out your neck saying, oh yeah, I'm going to make this right. And then you fall back off. No, you have to take the necessary steps to create a relationship with you and your child because you messed that up. So now you have to fix that. You know, it might take time. Hey, your child might not want to have a relationship with you. But if you constantly trying, eventually that door will open and you should be able to have somewhat of a relationship.
Especially like baby steps too, because
baby steps, you know, give a child a chance, you know, and again, off top, it might not be a good relationship, but eventually if you keep showing who you are and showing that you're trying, hey, the light, you know,
that's good.
Something could happen, you know.
It is so crazy because I feel like you are the catalyst. You are the person. Like hearing you talk, I can see my situation on the other end of that. Yeah. The person I was dealing with, receiving that information. Yeah. But you got to actually receive it and know that, like,
because it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. But I feel like if somebody's trying, and that's on any relationship.
Yeah.
If you're trying to build any relationship and you actually trying and you putting the work in to make this relationship work, just as far it don't matter if it's a marriage, if it's a family relationship, friendship, whatever relationship, if you putting in the work to make this relationship work, you're gonna have good results every time. You know what I'm saying? It might not happen off top, but
and you
eventually
have to be okay with that.
Eventually, it's gonna work out, and hopefully, you know, a lot of men take that. Hopefully, a lot of women take that information, and you know, I hope. I kept cutting myself off because I don't want to sit up here and act like I'm talking bad about my situation, even though it was a bad situation. But at the same time, it's my experience, and it is what it is. I love my wife. You know, I'm glad we was able to kind of make sure our family is tight. You know, and in our family, we don't see no stepmom, stepdad. We don't see that, you know. But at the same time, we do understand we do have a blended family.
Yes.
And and that's our blended family and our co-parenting.
It's a lot, y'all.
It's a lot. And you know, early in this conversation, I did say, you know, if you need advice or if you want to give advice, or if you just want to say hey to us, we do have an email that you can do so. The email is askforrealfam. I can't remember if it's asktheforrealfam or askforrealfam. It don't matter. It'll be in the description of this podcast. Y'all make sure y'all send us an email again if you want to give advice or if you want to if you need advice, or if you want to just say hey to us, tell us what's up, y'all email us at asktheforrealfam@gmail.com. And hey, we look forward to hearing and seeing y'all messages. But yeah, we appreciate y'all checking out this episode. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe. And if you listen to us on any podcast app, make sure y'all follow us and leave us a review. We'll appreciate all the feedback. And make sure you email us at asktheforrealfam@gmail.com. We'll love to hear from y'all as well. We appreciate y'all. I guess we'll see y'all on the next episode.
Yeah, thank y'all for keeping it real with us. We're going to always keep it 100.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it for this episode. We'll see y'all on the next one.
All right, peace. Good night.